life experiences where I'd wake up where it felt like something was wrong or I had to sleep with the light on, you would have really thought something was wrong with me. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Sacred Intentions. Just want to come to you briefly with some things that I wanted to share for the night that was actually on my mind. Just a continuance of being in the flight or fight mode, dealing with the nervous system. So, like I was saying, life experiences where I'd wake up with the thought of something was wrong, um, anxious feeling, um, having to sleep with the lights on, like it was giving trauma. you know, something was seriously not okay. Um, I had definitely encountered something to where I did not feel comfortable or couldn't be comfortable or felt like I wasn't at all comfortable with just being in my body, right? I feel like I had to always be on alert. um, and it definitely kept me in a low vibrational state. um, like I said, I was always in that fight or flight mode. So that sympathetic nervous system, as if it was like in overtime, basically. Um, when you're in that mode, your body will release cortisol, which naturally is supposed to, right, help you with calming the body down, right? Basically, it's allowing you to shut down, um, to put your body at ease, right? It's a way of trying to tell your body that everything is going to be okay. Um, now, one second. Now, the key to it is getting your body from the sympathetic nervous system trigger area, that response, to getting it to the parasympathetic um, nervous system energy, right? Which is actually where your body is at calm, that restful state. And if you think about it, when your body is actually anxious versus you being excited, you're kind of feeling that same energy if you think about it. Think hard for me. Not even think hard, just look at it from a different perspective for a second. Think of it, your body being anxious, and then your body being excited about something, right? You get butterflies, or like if you're anxious, you still have butterflies too, right? One thing I have been learning to do is it's almost like you have to trick your brain. You have to trick your brain. Um, yes, the body does keep score of especially traumatic experiences, right? And not even just traumatic, the very opposite of it, right? Because the traumatic experience is basically your body feeling uneasy. It's being put into that sympathetic nervous state, right? To where you're in that flight or fight mode. And so, a lot of times in life, even like now, you're not able to really just be fully present if you're constantly in that fight or flight mode, and your body is constantly shooting that cortisol, which, if you're not careful, can cause a lot of like inflammation in the body, right? It can actually be a bad thing on your body, and can cause you major issues. Not not even just mentally, but like on a physical level, because a lot of times um, certain things will manifest itself physically in the body. And then also, whenever you are dealing, like with anxiety, or like you're anxious or whatever, it's like you struggle with being present. You're not able to focus. So that means your body is really responding to something that occurred in your past. Like there's some type of trigger. And so that feeling that you're getting now literally doesn't have anything to do with your present moment, because you're really not operating from, or in the present. You're operating from a trigger, like a past energy. So, like, some things that I do to help myself is I maybe like some Palo Santo. If I feel like in that moment that I'm getting, like that thing, I take like deep breaths, and then I tell myself like I am okay, I am safe. Um, I think I watched a video, and it was actually Mel Robbins, and she was talking about how if we trick our brains and tell ourselves the opposite, instead of saying like anxious, and then your brain does basically put out more of that anxious energy, right, within you, and then everything around you, you get that anxious energy, that you should start telling yourself, I'm excited, or think of something that excites you, right? So that you can trick your brain into that type of energy versus the anxious energy. So I'm going to work on doing that some more. Um, I liked also like I have my essential oil burner going, and put different scents in that. Sometimes I'll do like sandalwood. It's very calming. And then sometimes like I'll do, I like lemongrass, because it like, I don't know, it makes me think like I'm in a tropical area or something like that, right? Puts my mind in another whole environment. And sunlight is another good thing that actually, even though it gives you energy, it can also like calm you down. The moon is very calming. Um, Baths, just sitting in the bath of like Epsom salt, it's very calming. It can help you relax and pull that anxious energy from you. Another thing could be like you just journaling, how you felt, um, from day to day. Some days you may not feel like it, and that's okay. You don't beat yourself up about it. But these are just things that I have learned along the way, and never realized it until I kind of got a little bit older. Like, okay, there's got to be some type of trigger or something that causes me to still want to sleep with the light on, or when I wake up, I feel like, like something's wrong, or just the waking up like in the middle of the night sometimes. Um, like that part. Also, another thing that helps me calm down is, you guys know I love me some herbal tea. So I'll do like chamomile and lavender with ginger. That helps a lot. That helps a lot. And one thing I noticed also is that I was constantly, as if I'm like running from something, um, almost like, I have to stay in that busy mode. Like I always have to be doing something. And that is honestly almost like a trigger in a way, or distraction, honestly, from me like truly sitting with myself, or having to calm down, or having to sit, right? Or slow down. And when I think about it, the only time I've ever truly slowed down was when the pandemic actually hit. And I could say during that time, it was so like blissful. While people were complaining, saying that they were having a hard time coping with it because they had to sit, like in the house, isolate themselves, things like that. Like that was normal to me. Like that gave me like not having to wake up on nobody's schedule. Like I really got to pour into myself before I chose to pour into anybody else. And it felt so good. Um, because at that time, I think I was working like 12-hour shifts in a factory. And it was like, I think I had to be there like 5:30 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon, basically. So just imagine you going to work and it's dark in the morning, and then you getting off and it's about to be dark again. And you really kind of, by the time you get off with the type of work that you do, like you barely, can function for yourself. And I was barely functioning for myself, barely functioning for my kids. Um, not even want to really cook, not even want to do anything. That's how burnt out I was. And so to have the pandemic happen, it was a blessing for me. Do you hear me? And then I'm not gonna lie, even then I was living paycheck to paycheck. So whenever the pandemic came and they were talking about unemployment and stuff like that, like it was such a relief because I was not worried about a bill. I was not worried about groceries because with that, I think at the time it was like 875 a week coming in. And for me, like that was, when I say not having to worry about how my bill was going to get paid, any of my bills, I meant that. Like I stand on that. The groceries that I got to buy, like I really got to feed myself. I got to buy plenty of like fruits, um, for me and my kids without having to worry about the quantity. I mean, of how many I can get. Like, and I got loads of like vegetables. I was doing like sunbathing in my backyard. Um, I got to really like clean my home. I got to do a lot that needed to be done. When I say I actually got to slow down and be present, I mean that. I mean that. I'm a sun. I know a lot, they say like the women, like the yin energy, the moon. I get it. But it's something about me. It's, I feel the opposite. So like the sun, it feels so soothing to me. And so when I go in areas where the sun is, I feel at home. And at that time, I can remember the sun was out all the time. And so I was always outside. I got to see like when the sun rise, the sun was setting, when the moon, like all that stuff. Even when, like, I remember at that time, like deers would be in my yard. Where I lived, deers were not known to actually be out at that time. But like deers were in my yard just looking up at me while they were looking at the grass or just staring at me. Little bunny rabbits were in my yard. The birds, they would just be like chirping up a storm. And I was just like, I was in happy mode, you know? I felt true like joy. And that was a time when I say I really got to like slow down. I truly slowed down and it felt good. I feel like that's how it's really supposed to be, you know, with us, like living. I don't think it should have to be fast, or there should not be a need for us like worrying about things, um, any of that. And so it was like, if we could go back to that again, I would. I would. Um, so when I get moments of being able to truly calm down and like sit with myself and have true peace, and it's almost like when I shut myself out from everybody else, like I truly commit to it because it's rare that I get the opportunity now. Now, I work from home now, and my schedule is definitely different. Um, but I still miss, you know, um, just that time frame. I got to experience a lot during that time, and I'm so grateful. I was so grateful that we were given that opportunity. And so, back to round my to what I even began speaking about to start with. Like, a lot of things are coming full circle for me. Um, may not have been the best I've experienced, but I'm finding a jewel and, you know, a gem in pieces of it. And I'm just learning to be grateful for certain things, people, those that have come and gone in my life, you know. Everything I know happens in cycles. So, you know, in seasons. So there's a time and a season for everything. Um, Everything vibrates. Um, I don't know, I'm just learning a lot. I felt like a lot of times I was digging for something just to be able to um, identify myself with. And so I had to stop that and get out of that. Because when I go down rabbit holes, I go down rabbit holes. And it makes me want to attach myself to something as if I got to have some type of understanding of something, and I have to stop doing that with myself. Um, it's good to expand your mind, you know, and all those types of things. But me being an overthinker, it can also be like detrimental, you know, and unnecessary, and always keep me in a loop to where I'm not really present, right? Um, and always have to go by like titles of something just to say that I'm a part of something. And I don't want to feel like that. So, anywho, I just want to get on here and speak with you guys a little bit about the um, nervous system some more, and how important it is to learn how to be in control of it and calm it down, because it is the tree of life truly is the nervous system in the body. And once you get an understanding of that, I think things start to make themselves clear to you. May not be all at once, and that's okay. You don't want to know everything at once, and that's something that I learned. Everything will show itself to you at the right time. Um, I know yesterday I did a lot of cleaning. Oh my gosh, I was washing baseboards, my fan things. I threw away a lot of things like that I didn't realize. I was like, I'm not even using this. Um, or I just had it like sitting in the closets, and I threw away a bunch of boxes that I just had like in my shed. Wasn't using the boxes, so I broke them down. Got rid of some clothes. It, when you clean and like organize something and have less things out, for me it seems like minimalized living does something for the brain. Like, I know I'm making space for things to come in, but the clarity that it gives me is just like, like I can breathe some more. But anywho, I will let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in and watching my channel,
And I know I created it, make no mistakes on me.